Name a musical artist. What is the first one that came to your mind? If you said Beatles, then congrats! You win nothing other than a smug sense for naming the band that I was thinking of. It is no secret that I love the Beatles. I mean, look at the number of vinyl records I have of them. And today, I want to share my opinion on their albums, so I have taken the task of ranking all their studio albums in one video. Stay tuned. Before we get started, I want to clarify what I am classifying as a studio album. I am only considering those in the current Beatles canon, except for Yellow Submarine, as not only do I not have that album, it has re-released tracks on it, and half of it is incidental music, not really Beatles tunes at that point. Also, no greatest hits or compilations. That means no 1967 through 1970 or 1. I am also not counting the Love album or Yellow Submarine song track either. I am, however, including the Magical Mystery Tour album, Capital Version. With that out of the way, let's get started. While this album has issues, I still do have a fun time listening to this album. I Saw Her Standing There is one of my favorite Beatles songs, for its high energy and just being so much fun. Please Please Me is also a genuinely great song, and There's a Place and Twist and Shout make for a great 1-2 punch finale. Do You Want to Know a Secret, while it's not incredible, is also a really fun sounding song. Besides Twist and Shout and to an extent Baby It's You, the covers are fairly weak though. Some have good energy, but Taste of Honey is a slog to get through. This album has a lot of issues, but it's still a good album all around. I might get some, maybe a little bit of hate for this, but this Beatles album is one of my least favorite of theirs. It's not bad, not at all, but it's not on the same level as the ones later on the list. There are some really heavy hitters here, like Let It Be is one of McCartney's best songs, and you also have Across the Universe and The Long and Winding Road. Get Back is a phenomenal song also, but I prefer the single version that doesn't end so abruptly. Two of Us is also a really fun song, and I Mean Mine has a great slow section. However, 2 of these 12 songs are under a minute, and they aren't that great either. I also don't really enjoy the rest of the main tracks that much. I Got a Feeling, for example, just doesn't have a great sound to me. And Dig a Pony and For You Blue are also not really my thing. It's a very top-heavy album, but those top 3 or top 4 tracks are worth the price of admission alone for this album. It's just the lower tracks bring it down a lot. This album has a great opening trio with It Won't Be Long, All I've Gotta Do, and All My Loving. The latter being an absolutely amazing song, and easily my favorite off the album. The covers are really solid too. There's a great variety in them, and I think my favorite of them is Please Mr. Postman. They did a really solid job with their version. There are some low points, such as Hold Me Tight and Little Child. While the album Please Please Me may have higher highs, it also has lower lows, so this one goes above it. This used to be my least favorite Beatles album, but my opinion of it has grown quite a bit. There are some absolutely fantastic songs on here, and a bit of growth in the variety of their music. 8 Days a Week is a phenomenal early Beatles song, and the other album highlight, I'll Follow the Sun, is really beautiful actually. The opener of the album, No Reply, has actually aged pretty well in my opinion, and was one of the more interesting early Beatles songs in my opinion. The covers here are so much better than the ones on Please Please Me. Their cover of rock and roll music is so much fun to listen to, and I think I might prefer the Beatles version of Words of Love over the original, actually. I even enjoy Mr. Moonlight a little bit. The ending to the album is fairly weak, but it is still a highly enjoyable album. This is a big jump in quality from the last two. I will admit, I have not listened to this album in a hot minute, but I will try and justify my ranking the best I can. This album is kind of mixed in quality, and that's understandable. You have 30 tracks, so there will understandably be some filler. Let's start off with the good songs. I really like the first 4 songs. Back in the USSR is a really great surf rock tune. Dear Prudence is nice and relaxing, although I do think it's a bit overrated, because I might not just get it. Glass Onion is kind of cool with how self-referential they are, and Obla Obla Da is lots of fun too. While My Guitar Gently Weeps is probably the best song off the album, especially with the epic solo. Happiness is a Warm Gun is extremely solid and interesting. I'm So Tired is an unknown favorite of mine, and Blackbird is another highlight. It's probably one of the most simple yet beautiful songs I've heard, honestly. I love Helter Skelter, and Revolution 1 is good, but a very hippie sounding song, and I love Goodnight as the closer. Unfortunately, that's only 11 of the 30 songs, and we still have 19 other songs that are not that great. I still enjoy some of them, like Martha My Dear is nice along with Julia, and even Piggies is kind of decent too. But there are so many skippable songs on this album, and while I usually don't skip songs, Revolution 9 is an exception. Just 8.5 minutes of hell. That said, the good songs on this album are really good. They make this album what it is. A really good album, even with all the filler. Help has a similar issue to that as of the White Album, as crazy as that sounds, where there is filler tracks. However, for most of them, I find them to be far more enjoyable than the White Album's filler. There are some absolute classics on this album to start with. Help, you've got to Hide Your Love Away, are classic tracks, fantastic, and while I'm not the biggest fan of Ticket to Ride, it's a fun song and many still love it, so if you're into that, that's on here. Yesterday is another incredible track, and I can see why it is the most covered song in the world. Then, I really like some of the lesser known tracks as well, such as I've Just Seen Face and The Night Before. Sorry, I almost broke out in the song there, but the former is one of the best Beatles songs of that era. One of my favorites, too. Some of the filler songs I still enjoy quite a bit, such as You're Gonna Lose That Girl and Tell Me What You See. I also find the Act Naturally cover to be enjoyable as well. The rest of the songs are just okay, except for Dizzy Miss Lizzy, which is not very good. With all that said, though, I think I enjoy this slightly more than the White Album. They are both great albums, but I kind of would rather listen to this one. Okay, another opinion that's gonna get me some hate. Sgt. Pepper's is another album I kind of have mixed feelings on. The great songs are some of the best I've written, but there's some not so great ones on here too. The first side has almost no issues, all the songs are quality, especially those first 3 songs. The theme song, and With a Little Help from My Friends, makes for one of the best Beatles openings ever, and I love the way that Sgt. Pepper's has the songs lead into each other sometimes. Lucy in the Sky has some trippy imagery, but it sounds very beautiful. Getting Better and Fixing a Hole are not as incredible, but still good songs, and they're fun, too. She's Leaving Home is on the level of those first 3, in my opinion, and has great orchestration. Things start to go south a little bit with Benefit of Mr. Kite, as that's still a fun song, just not on the level of the first 6. Within You Without You is a really interesting song, and while it is long, I still get some enjoyment out of it. When I'm 64 is one of Paul's best granny songs, and it is still a really good tune to this day, even if it is dated sounding. Lovery Rita has a great opening, but I don't really like the rest of the song that much, which I'm gonna guess is gonna get me slammed. But, let's see. The Good Morning and Good Morning is even worse. The reprise of the main theme, though, is great, and A Day in the Life is genuinely one of the best songs I've heard, and saves side 2 of the album. Genuinely amazing song. Terrifying crescendo, but really good song. It makes this album even more worth it. I might sound more negative towards it than the last ranking, but this definitely is a better album than Help. A Hard Day's Night has probably one of the best first sides of any album I've listened to. Every track on the first side is good to great. Obviously, the title song is a classic, along with Can't Buy Me Love. Also, And I Love Her is a beautiful love song, and If I Fell might be even better than that. Hauntingly beautiful. I Should Have Known Better is a really fun song, as is Tell Me Why. I even enjoy George's I'm Happy Just to Dance With You. The second side, though, is a bit spotty in quality, but there's still some serious gems here. Things We Said Today kind of feel sad in a way, but not that sad. I also love I'll Be Back and You Can't Do That. Some of the less good songs are still enjoyable to me. I do like I'll Cry Instead for being a fun little song. Not a big fan of Any Time at All and When I Get Home. I won't skip them, but the latter is the lowest point on the album. But when your worst song on an album is just okay, you did something right. And this is probably the most Solid all-around album so far. It's just one of the most pure fun albums, and there's something great about that. Okay, I know this technically isn't an album, but Magical Mystery Tour is fantastic. Lots of really fun tracks, along with some really psychedelic tracks as well. The first side is great, with the title track and Fool on the Hill being lots of fun. Flying and Blue Jay Way are kinda creepy and psychedelic 1-2 punch. Your Mother Should Know is also a really nice toe tapper, and I Am the Walrus, while complete nonsense lyrically, is creepy and lots of fun at the same time. I don't even know how that's possible. Great song. The second side might be even stronger, honestly. Hello Goodbye is a simple but great song, but Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane are some of the best the Beatles had to offer. Baby You're a Rich Man is another fun song, and All You Need Is Love is a warm and cozy song. This album, as you can tell, while has some creepy points, is a lot of fun and contains a lot of their best work. We're starting to get into the really good stuff here. Rubber Soul is a classic. This one has a more folk rock feeling to it, and we also start to get some serious experimentation here, like the sitar on Norwegian Wood, for example. Almost all the songs are really good to great, but the absolute highlights are In My Life, Nowhere Man, and If I Needed Someone. Then there's some really great B tier tracks as well, like Think for Yourself, You Won't See Me, Girl, Drive My Car, and I'm Looking Through You. I even enjoy What Goes On. The only two songs I'm not really a fan of are Run for Your Life and The Word. The former is kind of a weak ending song, and the latter is just not great in my opinion. But only one kind of bad song is something I can kind of ignore when the rest of the track list is as stacked as Rubber Soul. Fantastic album. Revolver takes the experimentation of Rubber Soul and cranks it to 11, and adds a lot of variety in there for good measure. Taxman marks the first political track the Beatles made by George, surprisingly. It's an acquired taste, but it's still a good song. Eleanor Rigby is a stellar track, probably one of the most interesting pop songs of the time. Here, There, and Everywhere is also amazing. I also love I'm Only Sleeping, and Your Bird Can Sing, Got to Get You Into My Life, and For No One. The latter is probably one of my favorites off the album, and it sounds like something you could hear off of Abbey Road almost. Yellow Submarine is also a really fun track. Even George's Love You Too is pretty cool. While I'm not the biggest fan of She Said or Dr. Robert, John's final track is fascinating. Tomorrow Never Knows sounds like a drug trip mixed with steroids with how much experimentation is going on here. It's an awesome track, and I suggest everyone listen to it at least once. Revolver may have more studs than Rubber Soul, but the stellar tracks make up for it completely. It's my personal favorite album, but there's one more album I think is technically better. Come on, it had to be number one. It's iconic for a reason. One of the most famous albums in history. So many heavy hitters on this album. Come Together as groovy and chill, a perfect opening song. Something is a song that even Sinatra liked, and performed on several occasions. Oh Darling has an emotional performance, bringing a great song even higher. Octopus's Garden is one of the few Ringo penned tracks, and it's lots of fun actually. One of my personal favorites on the album. She's So Heavy has an awesome riff, and actually sounds heavy by the end of it. At least by Beatles standards. Here Comes the Sun has one of the most beautiful backing tracks in history. It's overplayed, but still incredible. And the medley, oh my god, the medley. It takes what Sgt. Pepper's did and takes it up to the moon. The tracks flow so well together, and the final guitar solo is epic. I even enjoy Maxwell's Silver Hammer, which is early on the album, but still. It's a fun track. If you have never listened to this album, do it. It's one of the best I've heard, and an absolute masterpiece as well. The Beatles had an extensive catalog of music. All their albums are at least good, which is impressive for a band that did so much. If an album you liked is ranked low, just remember this is my opinion, and an uneducated one at that. But if you like this list, like this video to help me in the YouTube algorithm. What is your favorite Beatles album, or how would you rank them? Let me know down below in the comments. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.